Welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our series on understanding yourself and others using your DiSC profile. As a reminder, during this series, we are going to be looking at the general characteristics of each DiSC style. We're also going to look at how those styles affect how you communicate, lead, work with others, and deal in conflict. We're also going to learn some key adapting and connecting behaviors. So welcome to DiSC Basics 2 of 2. As a reminder, DiSC is an acronym that stands for dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. Many people are a combination of two styles. The common combinations include CS, IS, DI, and DC. These combinations create influences from both styles, although one style remains primary. There are 28 combinations or classical patterns, and each have their own unique behavioral parts and pieces. The style on the chart here would be referred to as DI, while this one would be CD, this one would be IS, and the one here would be kind of a pure S style with no other influences. Now let's talk about some hemisphere characteristics. Each of the major hemispheres share some characteristics. It creates commonality between styles. The northern hemisphere is comprised of D and I, while the southern is the C and S. The eastern hemisphere is the I and S, while the west is D and C behaviors. The northern hemisphere is shown here, and the southern hemisphere there. Eastern are the I and S, and the western is the D and C. Now, some common characteristics for the northern hemisphere include extroverted, fast-paced, action-oriented, displays emotion, and they are louder and bolder. Southern hemisphere characteristics tend to be introverted, moderate-paced, analysis and planning-oriented, holds their emotions, and they tend to be quieter. Eastern hemisphere characteristics tend to be accepting and trusting, people-oriented, and more social in nature. While the Western Hemisphere is questioning and skeptical, results-oriented, and less social in nature. Let's talk a little about shading. In addition to intensity that we talked about in the last session, the overall shading shown in your profile matters, and it's related to intensity. Shading shows the influence of all the other styles in your responses. It tends to be a very good indicator of how well you will connect to other styles and where you have challenges connecting and adapting to other styles. The shading shown here is a primary S style, but it also shows responses in I, C, and a little bit D. Now, what this means is the person in the example will connect very successfully with other people of the S style and connect pretty easily with low-intensity people in the I and C style. The person is going to struggle with relating to people with a high D, I, or C values. That leads to an important concept. The distance between dots when comparing two individuals will indicate the ease or challenge in connecting and understanding. The farther away, the more challenging, and the more adaptation that's going to be required. The closer the dots, the easier that connection and adaptation will be. In the next installment, we'll look at what it means for various styles to communicate, deal in conflict, and work together. If you're interested in updating your profile or getting more for your team, please feel free to contact us.